Hello, my name is Morgan Dixon, and this is my interview with a cryptocurrency millionaire. Check it out. So I'll be asking you questions, and you just answer them however you feel. Doesn't matter how long. Longer the better, more detailed. Maybe you'll inspire some people to do that. So, what is your official job title, and what do you do?
I would say the official job title would simply be digital currency trader.
All right. And what is your range of income for the past 2-ish, 3-ish years?
That's highly variable. In the bull run of 2017, well over $1 million. 2018 obviously has been a brutal bear market, so it is wildly variable. This month of April, I mean, it's not uncommon to do $15,000 a day in trading. So it really is highly variable. I'm not even sure how to answer that question. It is somewhat feast or famine. If the market, basically we just need volatility. Yeah. So if the market is stable, opportunities are limited. If the market's wild up or down, either direction, opportunities are present.
Okay. So what is your typical day of work like?
Very untypical compared to probably most people. I find that trading you can't predict exactly when the market's going to move, but sometimes things do actually move when you think they're going to move. And it just depends on when people are getting up around the world. Sure, there's a lot of bots and a lot of algorithmic trading that takes place, but there are still a lot of human beings that are reprogramming those bots and that are actually just making manual trades. And so it's a pretty crazy schedule, actually. I mean, I might be up until 3 to 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I might not get up until 1 o'clock the next day. Set stop losses, set limit orders for while I'm asleep, but very untraditional day. I don't know if it's the best for some people, but it is working for this. So, and I've always been a night owl, so it kind of goes with the flow for me. I don't have a problem with it.
That's good. Next, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Take chances, I guess. I really didn't know what to say until you just asked me, but I would say take chances. I think not taking chances is the biggest opportunity cost of all. There's so many opportunities out there, and failure is definitely very possible, likely, actually. Lots of failure. I've failed many times. Lost quite a bit of money in the last crypto bull run due to a Ponzi scheme, so that definitely can happen too. But not trying, that's the biggest mistake, I think. So I would say I would say taking chances is the best advice I've ever taken.
Would you like to describe the scheme itself, what it was called?
The Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, they deserve as much bad publicity as possible, I suppose. USI Tech was a purported arbitrage trading platform along with mining. They were kind of saying that mostly they were doing arbitrage in the early days. There was quite a bit of inconsistency in Bitcoin prices during the big run-up, and there were opportunities definitely for arbitrage trading, meaning just that you're equalizing the difference between exchanges around the world. And so those inefficiencies created an opportunity, and so it did create a plausible scheme to make it believable that they actually were doing arbitrage trading. The mining was more of a sustainable thing, and that was something that they said that they were putting more and more money and infrastructure into, and so it seemed very, again, plausible that they were actually a legit business. They were paying out very well, like most Ponzi schemes do, but they were relying on new entrants like all Ponzi schemes require. And eventually when the market went down, not only did it get harder for miners to make money that were doing it legit, but of course Ponzi schemes, everything dried up. And so, lesson learned. Yes, always do your research, and I did. Be careful who you trust. I trusted someone that I still trust to some degree. I kind of used what I call a blockchain of trust with him, and it did not work out well at all. So, but again, that's one of those learning experiences. That was about a $300,000 loss, which sounds hard to come back from, and it seemed like it was at the time. But cryptocurrency, there's so much opportunity, and really just in life in general, as long as you keep going. I mean, the only surefire way to fail is to stop trying. So I feel like I've learned a lot since then, but there will be more Ponzi schemes. That's kind of good that you brought that up. The market is just starting to wake up now, and I think we're right at the forefront of the next bull run in cryptocurrency. And the Ponzi schemes will come out of the closet again in full force, and there'll be lots of very well-meaning people and even smart people that will fall for it. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think I'll ever be one of those people, at least, I can tell you that. And I certainly, I can warn others, but yeah, watch out for the Ponzi schemes. That's about all I can say. If something is too good to be true and things don't actually line up completely, then look into it. But some people think crypto itself is a Ponzi scheme, and that's a straw man argument. Bitcoin is proof of work. You can actually prove it exists in the hash, and but yeah, that's about what I would say on that. Be careful of things that you can't actually pin down and figure out, because it probably is going to be some kind of a Ponzi scheme.
Watch out for those scams, folks. So, what is your dream car?
My dream car, it seems cliche because so many people, especially in the cryptocurrency world, it's kind of the poster car, a Lamborghini Huracan specifically. It certainly is not the highest performance vehicle out there, and I'm a car guy. So I understand it's not the fastest. Some of my friends rub it in my face and say if they had the money, they would blow my doors off with a 720S McLaren, which it would. But the Lamborghini is special to me, and that's certainly on my radar for things to get.
Definitely. So what is your favorite food?
My favorite food, I'm a real healthy person, and I work out a lot, and I try to eat clean and healthy, but one of my close friends actually got me eating pizza, and now I'm kind of a pizza addict. So I would have to, I'd be lying if I didn't admit it was pizza.
Well, apparently, guys, the pizza is the thing for cryptos. That's a go-to. Gamer fuel.
Could be.
Need some Mountain Dew with that.
Well, no, stay away from the sugars. The refined sugars that's a big no-no.
What is the coolest place you've been to?
I'm not a big traveler, but I would say the coolest place I've been to is probably still, well, I guess I could break it down for tropicalness, for tropical environments, Hawaii, Kauai itself, where they filmed a lot of Jurassic Park, certain areas where they on the island that are pretty inaccessible. As far as the lower 48 though, because I'm not a world traveler yet, I would have to say my most recent trip to Zion National Park was absolutely blew me away, just stunning beauty.
Very cool. What is one thing that people don't understand about the crypto market?
I would say the biggest is simply what I kind of echoed a moment ago, and that is that it's a scam. So some people still think Bitcoin's a scam, and there's even very well-known Bitcoin maximalists, which just means they think Bitcoin is the only blockchain that is relevant at all, and they think that every other cryptocurrency is a scam, including even like, say, Ethereum. But there are certainly scam coins out there. They are complete pump and dumps. They have fake white papers. They have fake developer teams. They literally copy and paste. But I think the biggest, in general, I think the biggest misconception is just simply that it's all a scam and they put all of it into one basket. Huge mistake, absolutely huge mistake, because this is the future. We do go through the boom and busts in terms of how it's denominated in say, US dollars. But the overall trajectory, when you zoom out and look at a big scope graph, it's up. this is the future, and people are, whether they like it or not, they're just going to have to accept that. And eventually they will, and eventually they will understand that Bitcoin, for instance, is, even though it seems slow and archaic, it is real, and it's not a Ponzi scheme, and that there are many, many useful blockchains, and that they really are, they're relevant, they are the future, and they're not scams. Most of them. Most of the top market cap coins they're not scams. They are either proof of stake or proof of work coins, but they're not going anywhere. A lot of them lost 90% in this last bear market, but they're bouncing back a little bit now. And I think, like I said, I think we're right on the edge of the next full run. So people need to open their eyes and start to really reconsider whether they truly think it's a scam or a Ponzi.
Yeah. Number 9, who is your celebrity crush?
No, I honestly don't watch a lot of movies, not in the Hollywood culture at all. But the first one that comes to mind, I guess, would be Megan Fox, actually.
Makes sense. I can understand that. What do your friends do that bug you?
Not being dependable. We're all fallible, but when people don't follow up on what they say they're going to do, and again, there's always exceptions and there's always reasons, but when people consistently let you down, that's a huge strike against me. So just reliability. I guess you could say honesty and integrity, but just being generally reliable.
Yeah. What education is required / what would you recommend?
If I was in education now, I mean, if I was in college, even a 2-year college, I guess I'll just say this: if I could backtrack in time, I wish I would have taken more IT classes. So I did take some computer information technology courses, but it wasn't my emphasis at all. And I had people even back then telling me, it'd be a good thing to maybe saturate and marinate yourself in. And I wish I would have taken more of that advice. I think that I think it's very clear. It's a technologically evolving world, and that's why I'm so bullish on cryptocurrencies long term, digital currencies. So I would say anything involving technology. And again, there will be booms and busts, and people will get degrees that are not meaningful. But again, for what I'm doing, to answer your question, for what I'm doing, it certainly doesn't require any of that. Of course, it just requires, everything that I've done is self-education. I never had anybody. There's always mentors you can look up to, of course, and there's countless YouTube channels, although they are drying up because of the bear market. A lot of YouTubers are quitting. So they've thrown in the towel. There's even some relatively big ones that have shockingly thrown in the towel 6 months plus ago. So no education really is required except for willingness to learn. But if you are in the system and you do believe in education, or you do believe in schooling, I kind of draw the line. There's a marked difference between education and schooling. But if you're in school, I would definitely take as many computer courses as possible, but specifically blockchain courses would be great. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure exactly what other courses that would be relevant in the space, but certainly blockchain courses. I guess scripting courses, computer language courses. That would be very relevant, I think.
So I know you had at least attended college classes. Did you go to college, and do you have any student loan debt?
I did go to college. I got my 2-year degree, associate's degree, associate of science, and I actually did get. I think I'm about 11 or 12 credits shy of my 4-year degree, business administration degree. So yeah, you might think, why did you quit? Why did you quit so close? I probably should have finished that. I did go to college. I did get my 2-year degree, Associate of Arts. I guess it's Associate of Science. No, it was associate of science. Arts would have required more liberal arts like theater. So I did get my associate of science degree, and I'm 11 or 12 credits shy of my business administration degree, 4-year degree. I did not get any, never did obtain any loans, never had any scholarships. Fortunately, my parents they're super pro-education. My mother's been in education her entire life, and so she's very pro-education, and she was more than willing to pay for my schooling. I didn't go to any highfalutin school, but it still does cost money, the books, textbooks, and everything else, lots of increasing costs there. So if you like school and you feel like it's a good use of your time, then go for it. Somebody else is paying for it. But if you're paying for it, it's real money, and you really will have to pay it back. And so your selection of your degree really, hopefully, is well thought out.
So for the next question, what investments do you have, and what do you want to invest in?
I'm very lopsided on the cryptocurrencies, so most of my portfolio actually is in cryptocurrencies just because of the risk-reward ratio I think that exists. Precious metals, though, are very important as well. I think there's still a real tangible benefit to have precious metals, and there will be certainly people that are going to gravitate towards them when the stock market does finally correct. Real estate is something that I'm not heavily invested in because I was expecting a correction along with the equities markets, but it's something that is excellent for long term. And in terms of what I'd like to invest in is to be more heavily invested in real estate, both commercial and residential, and then just have a cash stream of good tenants would be the best situation for me, I think, long term. So real estate has, if you look at some of the biggest people that have been stable through the booms and busts, they've involved real estate to some degree.
Yeah, okay. So you're big into investing in cryptocurrencies, but would you ever consider mining?
Yes, I would consider mining. Right now is a very interesting opportunity for mining because a lot of miners are in the cost of production. So if you're entering right now, you're very much bullish on the fact that you think that the market is going to turn up, which I do. If you think that we might be in for another correction, then it would be kind of a risky situation to get into mining. But yeah, I've definitely considered mining. And in fact, I've actually joked with some people that I have a 3-car garage, and it gets cold here in the wintertime. And I've often joked that the cost of my 240 volt heater that it runs me per month, that I could actually just be running like a Antminer S9, and I don't know for a fact, because I don't own a miner, but I know they put off a lot of heat, and I've kind of joked that maybe it would be a good trade-off even just to have even one miner sitting there. And we're kind of in a high kilowatt per hour environment here in this exact venue that we're in. But it will become profitable again for a lot of miners. And it certainly is profitable right now for miners, say, in China, the lowest cost. And there are people in the United States that it's beneficial to mine for. But yes, I would definitely be interested in mining in the future.
Okay. So what is the most innovative idea you've heard recently? Anything. Like business, cryptos?
In a broad sense, I think anything that has to do with decentralization. So I guess an example would be for cryptocurrency would be a coin called Ontology. And that is a coin that basically, in a sense, decentralizes the medical system in terms of you have a problem, and instead of going to a physician, you actually can get access to a physician via some kind of, whether it's video chat, something like that. And they can give you a fairly good diagnosis in terms of just, broad what's going on with you, right? So I don't know. I think anything that's decentralized that cuts out the waste, that cuts out the fraud, and that cuts out all the middlemen. and it just creates less friction for the consumer and lower cost.
Yeah, okay. So this is our very last question, and I know that a lot of people will be able to relate to this kind of. So what is a good investment with $1,000 that a college kid or someone like me can do, because we can actually afford $1,000 probably?
I think the simplest thing would be Bitcoin. I would say $1,000 into Bitcoin. There's better opportunities out there in terms of return on investment coins, but long term, the big picture is Bitcoin is digital gold. There's only 21 million available. We don't know how many are lost. Millions are lost. I think we're something like another 122 years from the last one mined. So if you look at the circulating supply, you look at what is locked up in cold wallets, and you look at actually what's trading on exchanges, it's such a small supply, and the utility, what it offers, the censorship resistance, the mutability, just the ability to have capital that you can take all over the world, it's so big, and the opportunity is so great, I think, in terms of what its future value would be. So you can split up that $1,000, but if you want to put it into one asset, I would simply put it all into Bitcoin.
Okay. Is there any like small altcoins that you would recommend?
Litecoin is, as I said earlier, is kind of the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Some people think that it's going to be irrelevant in the future and this and that, but it's the second oldest cryptocurrency out there. So, 2011, second oldest cryptocurrency. It's very well known. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's going to be implemented with the Lightning Network along with Bitcoin. So that's probably the most well-known altcoin out there that has the highest potential for returns and the longest potential future, I think. My father actually recommended, he asked for a recommendation this last December on what to put his money to actually, and what I told him was Litecoin. And we were sitting at $22. And currently, I'm not looking at the charts, but I think we're sitting at about $94. We've already touched $99 a couple days ago. So it's out of the top market cap coins. I believe it's been the highest return on investment.
Yeah.
So I would say Bitcoin is a great place to park your money, but Litecoin is absolutely something that should be on your radar.
Well, thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate the time. Hopefully I'll have more videos about interviews with people. I have one scheduled with somebody who works at a corporate Red Bull. That'll be super cool. She's really nice. Hopefully that'll come out soon, so stay tuned for that. Check out my Instagram and Snapchat, and go download my app, Out Loud Reader, on the App Store. And thank you for the support. Bye.